So I feel like I left something important out of my previous video, and a response I got made me feel like I needed to do this now. So I've been, obviously little cuts, scrapes, bruises, stuff like that is always, it's part of the job, right? We do things that are high impact and can sometimes cause punctures, cuts, scrapes, stuff like that. Sometimes we need to get them stitched up, repaired, whatever it is. Had an instance where I opened my hand up pretty good. Learned that Discovery is full of it because tendons are actually red when they're in operation. They're not white like you always see on the TV shows. So if you know, you know. But got it stitched up, a couple layers of stitches. That was an experience. Went back to work to take the paperwork and stuff in, and was told I needed to go finish car up. This was around 30 stitches around the outside edge of my hand. Uh, I wasn't really in shape to be twisting wrenches after that. I mean, I had no control over my hand. Uh, I got called quite a few names, and my job was hung out to either you finish that car or you don't work here anymore. I was young, I was stupid, and I was incredibly prideful to the point of self harm in the sense that I actually went over and finished that car. It took me 7 hours to do it with one hand, but I got it done. That was all the justification he needed for being shown that he was right. The other side that I didn't talk about is the mental aspect of being hurt or injured. There's the long time comparison. Are you hurt or are you injured? Hurt meaning less severe, you can push through the pain, whatever it is. Injured meaning you need medical care. The implication of weakness or you're soft, you're weak, whatever it is, because you were injured on the job or something degenerative that takes time to manifest. And I mean years. All those years of doing high impact, high vibration, working overhead, stuff that does cause circulation issues, arthritis, all the little stupid bone chips and stuff that we all inevitably get on our hands, our arms, all the knee problems, back problems. A lot of that stuff can be avoided if treated early and caught early, but it's so ingrained into us that that is weakness, and especially in the flat rate environment where you don't have any sort of fallback. There's no contingency for if you get hurt and you're out for a week or two, that you're getting paid for that. You don't have a choice but to push through it and work through whatever it is. Mentally, that is incredibly damaging. I ended up being out for almost 9 months with an injury to my arm, primarily because they couldn't find it. They were looking, the first doctor I went to, and that's a whole nother thing, but the first doctor I went to was not specialized in what I needed, and he didn't have the humility to say that this is not his area of expertise. The guy I did go to, who was within his wheelhouse to look at and assess what was going on, had an answer within one set of images and one test. So I guess that kind of falls back to, us being able to say something's out of our wheelhouse, right? But the point I bring up there in that case, when I was out of work, and anybody who has dealt with New York State or New York City workman's comp will attest to the fact that they are relentless with trying to catch people who are filing false claims. And unfortunately, those of us who need that system get really screwed when we have something legitimate going on and we need to utilize workman's comp. I was actively surveilled. I was actively checked in on. I was not allowed to leave the house unless I was going to the doctor. Going to the grocery store earned me an angry phone call. Going to the pharmacy, I got a phone call. That's that's one element of it, but being unable to do what we do a physical thing. we I personally did not deal well with not being able to do much of anything. I went from very active, playing a lot of hockey. On top of working, I was playing hockey. I fished all the time. Did a lot of, relatively active things that both kept me in relatively decent physical shape, but also occupied my mind and helped me get through some of my challenges. If I got angry at work, I'd go play hockey, go skate for a couple hours. Believe me, I was tired after that. I was calm after that. I got it all out. Going to sit on the beach and fish with my buddy Luigi was one of my favorite things to do. I couldn't do that with one hand. I tried. It was, I couldn't safely control a surf pole with one hand. It's not a good place to be in. And I wasn't allowed to do it anyway while I was out on workman's comp, so it was a non issue. But being the mental toll that can take on you, having something that is limiting your ability to do things, is words don't describe it, but I have never been that low in my life. There was one person, though there were two people. One of them I reached out to and got to know while I was out. I work for him now. The other one was one of my techs. He would check in on me constantly while I was going through that, and he was pretty relentless in that, and I am beyond words appreciative to that. There were quite a few times where I was in a real dark place and a real dangerous place to be. Um, but all those people that are friends that are sorry or horrible, that sucks. They were nowhere to be found. They kind of vaporized. Um, a few family members checked in pretty frequently, but out of all the people that I knew professionally, very few really cared. It felt like everyone was happy when I came back, but I definitely had a different view of what friendship meant to a lot of people after that. But mental health is something that is completely overlooked and stigmatized horribly in this industry. We all have triggers. We all have weak points. We all have past and history, and you have no idea, none whatsoever, how some of the things you say can affect somebody. You really have to be careful with some of the things that are said, especially when you are in a position of authority or a supervisory position over someone. It really is worth taking the extra couple of seconds to be mindful about what is coming out of your mouth and how that person is going to interpret it and what they're going to do with what they were just told. Um, you know, there's a company I'm a big supporter of. It's Til Valhalla Project. They made a shirt a couple years ago that they seem to re-roll from time to time, but the message on it is very, very true. Um, the message on it is be kind. You have no idea what struggle somebody else is going through, and that could not be more true. But take care of yourselves. That at the end of the day, that's it. Take care of yourselves. Um, be kind to the people around you, even if they screwed up. Be kind to them. Be compassionate. You can correct somebody without being a complete asshole about it. Take it easy, guys. Have a great week.